What is up, young entrepreneurs? Fifth gear and uppers, you young entrepreneurs. That kind of rhymes, huh?
Yeah.
Fifth gear and uppers, you young entrepreneurs. Welcome to our first episode of Money on Track. What is Money on Track? Where are my cars? Why are you looking at me? Oh, by the way, we're in our studio. Haven't figured it out. Got Marcus over here.
What's up, fam?
Really? That's the best you got? No.
What's up, fam?
What's up, fam? What's up, fam? It is. So Money on Track is my way of, well, hopefully we might even drop this entire thing, and so I kind of need your feedback on this. Yes, give us some insight into your life, or no, we don't care, just do burnouts. That's all we want you for. So, because I get asked every single day what it is that I do for work, what's the juice? How do I get the lifestyle that you have? Which, by the way, the lifestyle that I have, it's not the greatest, right? So I don't consider myself successful. I'm not successful. I still have a very long way to go. I think I'm at a good solid step 3 or 4 out of 10, right? So I just barely got into it. But my first job was McDonald's at the age of 16. So how do I get from McDonald's to being where I'm at now? This is sort of my way of, embarrassingly opening up into my life, my finances. It's an uncomfortable topic for most people, but I would have personally loved it if I was 14, 15, 16, even 20 years old and have heard some sound advice from someone who's been there before. And no, I don't consider myself a mentor because there are millions of people that are more qualified to give advice. I'm just a crazy guy with a few loud cars. But let me give you the basics on how to get to where I'm at. And like I said before, where I'm at is just the bottom. I still have a very long way of going. So how do I get started, right? Now, the common denominator to every successful person, and once again, I'm not labeling myself successful, so please don't think I am. But the common denominator to being successful is having ambition, drive, motivation, which I guess is the same thing, but really believing in yourself and going out there and getting it done. Let me give a perfect example of what I mean by going out there and getting it done. In high school, I had a friend, my best friend at the time. He would always say, I'm going to win the lotto. I remember one day the Mega Millions was like at $100 million, and he goes, I'm going to win the lotto. I'm going to win the 100 mil. I go, oh, cool. How many lotto tickets did you buy? He goes, well, I haven't bought any, but I'm going to win the lotto. So don't just talk about it. Talking about it's not going to get you anywhere. You have to go out there and get it done. So here's how my life began and how I got from A to Z. First job at 16 was McDonald's. Then I worked at Best Buy until I was 18. Then I started an e-commerce business. If you haven't seen that episode, click the link. Yeah, we're going to put the link in the description. And watch the end of that video. Or watch the entire thing because it's a pretty cool episode. But in the end of that episode, I talk about my very first e-commerce business where I made my first 100K at the age of 18. So after that, I went to school. I majored in microbiology. I graduated in 2008. I wanted to be a pharmacist, so I had applied to pharmacy school to get my PharmD to open up a chain of pharmacies. Now, while I was waiting to get my acceptance letter, which was going to take about 6 months, and then I had to enroll into the next semester, which would take another 6 months. So I had about a year to waste. Now, during that time, it was the year of 2008, where the great modern day recession hit America, and well, hit the entire world. So people were really struggling. One person that was close to me that was struggling was my own father. He had a towing business. He had a handful of employees and 5 tow trucks. Now in 2008, the price of fuel, price of diesel, which was his second biggest expense next to payroll, had almost tripled. It had skyrocketed from $2 a gallon to almost $6 a gallon. It was like $5.80. One of his biggest sources of income was a deal that he had with the local Lexus dealership, who was striving to provide the best customer service and was striving to win awards from Lexus of North America. So what they offered to their customers was a drop-off service. Anytime one of their customers' cars needed a major service like a transmission, engine, something that had a bill over $1,000, they would call us. We would go to the dealership, pick up a loaner car, take it to the customer, pick up the customer's car, take it to the dealership, and then whenever the service was done, we would take the customer's car, tow it back to the customer, pick up the loaner car, and tow that back to the Lexus dealership. So every one customer, we would get 4 tows. That was my dad's biggest source of income at the time. In 2008, once the recession hit, people stopped buying cars, people stopped taking their cars into service, so Lexus cut that entire service program. So our family business's income had plummeted and our expenses had skyrocketed. Now, this had started happening between '07 and '08. So by the time I had graduated, he had ran through his entire savings account and actually racked up a line of credit on the business because my dad didn't want to lay off any of his employees. He felt the business was struggling because of him and that it wasn't his employees' fault, so he wanted to make sure that his employees could provide for their own families. So my dad refused to cutting his biggest expense, which was payroll, by laying one or two employees off. So he retained all of his employees because at the time, no one had any idea how long that recession would go. There was a recession in '01, which only lasted a couple months. So that's what my dad was anticipating and hoping for. He had no idea it would go on for 2 years. So because I knew I had about a year to wait before I went into pharmacy school, I decided to go help my dad out with our family business. So I started working for him, and how do I lightly put this? I was young and reckless, and I had just graduated. I knew nothing about business, so I would always shoot for the stars. So I thought, why don't I go get us a government contract? At the time, Metro Freeway Service Patrol had 20 contracts up for bid. Metro Freeway Service Patrol, for those who don't know, is basically a freeway service where tow trucks patrol the freeway and tow stranded or broken down vehicles off the very first exit to reduce freeway congestion. So, Artemis, por favor.
Oh.
So I decided, let me go get this contract. Multi-million-dollar contract. Let me go get it. Why not? I could do it. It's really funny when I think about it now, but I had the confidence, This kind of goes back into the law of attraction that I was talking about a few episodes ago. You ask and you shall receive. So, I asked for it. There were about 20 contracts up for grabs and about 80 towing companies that were applying for these contracts. So the way a government contract works is you have to place a bid. Lowest bid gets the contract. Well, not always the lowest bid. So the way it works is, let's say company A and company B, right? Even though there were 80 companies, let's just simplify it. If company A bids $100 on one contract and bids $105 on the second contract, and I came in and I bid $106 on both contracts. So on the first one, company A would get the contract because they bid $100 and I bid $106. So $6 difference. Now on the second one, they bid $105 and I bid $106. So my bid is still higher, but I would get that contract because overall, the government or Metro would save more money because there was only $1 difference here, but $6 difference here. Since company A cannot get both contracts, I would get this one. So I didn't have to be the lowest bid, but I did have to do a bunch of research to figure out what bid I would have to come in at to be profitable. We had to purchase 5 tow trucks. That was part of the contract. We had to purchase 5 tow trucks that would spin and patrol a section of the freeway. Now, tow trucks aren't cheap. They're about $120,000 each. So that's $600K that we had to spend. And we had $0 in a bank account and we got $25,000 line of credit. In other words, I had no business applying for this contract, but hey, I shot for the moon and I went for it. So I did about 1 month's worth of research, filled out the entire packet, which was about like 500 pages. I did that all by myself. Other towing companies, more successful companies that had previously done business with Metro and that had 40, 50 tow trucks, well, they hired lobbyists and lawyers to do all the paperwork for them. We didn't have any money, so I had to do that all by myself. I just graduated with a degree in microbiology. It has nothing to do with business, but I decided to tackle this entire thing all by myself because for whatever reason, I had faith in myself. So first things first, filled the application out, submitted it. We had to get approved. Got approved, perfect. Now, a couple months passed, then we had to go to this big meeting where every single contractor or company had attended. And Metro would open up each sealed package and read out the bids. My palms start sweating every time I think of the story because our family business was about to fail. This was kind of like our one and only shot. I'm in this big room with 80 other companies. I'm the youngest guy there. I have no business being there. They're like 70-year-olds, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds that have been in this business for generations. It's been passed down from their grandfather and from their father. And well, I'm just this like young guy who has no idea about the towing world. But I remember everyone was like, what's this guy doing here? Out of the 20 contracts that were available, I had placed a bid on 4 of them. The 4 closest sections to our towing company, the 4 closest freeways to our towing company. And the one that I really wanted was beat 34. Each contract is called a beat. I remember they started reading off all the bids, towing A on this bid this much, and so on and so on. And then finally it came to our towing company, and I had the lowest bid on the beat that I really wanted. And I couldn't believe it. I was on the verge of getting a multi-million-dollar contract. It wasn't even about the money. It was the fact that I could do something to help my father out. So when he read it off that our company had the lowest bid, my heart kind of stopped, because the only thing I'm thinking of is, oh my God, like, this is life-changing. But it's not about the money. It's the fact that, you know, my dad no longer has to worry, because just like every family at the time was going through some hard times, you know, scratching their heads, trying to figure out, how are we going to get by? Like, there's no money left in the bank account. What can we do to, you know, survive? They continue reading off all the other beats and, you know, listing the prices and all that. I didn't care. I couldn't hear anything. The only thing I'm thinking of is what I'm going to tell my dad. Like, I cannot wait to get out of this room and give my dad that phone call. You know, my parents didn't have to struggle anymore. They would finally have some money in the bank account. And my dad had done so much good for his employees, had kept every single one of them along, and now, you know, this was God's way of, I guess, rewarding my dad for everything he had done. I remember when the meeting was over and there were 2 elevators going downstairs to the parking lot. I couldn't get in the elevator with everyone else. I had to run down the stairwell because I couldn't hold it in. The second I got in the stairwell, I just broke down. I got down on my knees. I started crying. Tears of joy, to say the least, because I'm just thinking, you know, about the phone call that I was going to give my dad, and what a sigh of relief that was going to be for my dad, that, you know, his business was going to survive, you know, and that my dad would be proud of me, that I helped do something that was going to help my, you know, our family out. So I called my dad. I'll never forget that phone call. I could just hear how proud my dad was of me, and I was really excited, but that's not where it ended, because every other station over there, every other company put in a petition and started spreading rumors about our company, because just like a mafia, they didn't want us to become a part of that, you know, Metro inner circle, because they had previous contracts with Metro. They didn't want a new company, and they definitely didn't want a young 23-year-old to put his foot in and get a multi-million-dollar contract. They wanted the contracts for themselves. So they petitioned day after day after day for about 3 months. I had to send Metro, you know, documentation proving that, you know, what they're accusing us of is false. So that, you know, they would say stupid things like, we don't have insurance, we don't have workers' comp insurance, our insurance policy isn't high enough, blah blah blah, which were all fake accusations. I would send the documents to Metro, but it seemed like every week I would have to send the same exact document over. I remember at one point I was thinking to myself, is this really worth it? I sent it in 10 times already. I have to send it in again. After about 3 months, Metro finally decided that, you know what, enough is enough. We've done our investigation. The contract is yours. So once we got the final approval, we ordered the trucks. 3 months later, we got the trucks and started our new contract. And well, that was the beginning of my journey. Basically overnight, our company grew from 5 tow trucks to 10 tow trucks. And in the years to come, my dad and I grew our company from 1 location with 5 trucks to 5 locations with 52 trucks. We became one of California's biggest towing operations. And that's one of the happiest times of my life, where I worked side to side and shoulder to shoulder with my dad. And my dad was my best friend. We shared a lot of good times together, working with each other. That's something I'll never take for granted. That was really business number 1, or number 2, if you consider my e-commerce business one, of the 14 that I've had. And in episodes to come, I'll discuss how I grew the company from 10 tow trucks at this point to 52 tow trucks in numerous locations. So yeah, what to take from this episode? Well, basically, be confident and you know, believe in the law of attraction. I talked about it last time. Whether you want to ask God or the universe, first ask for it. So I asked for the contract. I put it out there into the universe, into God, that I want to get this contract. Rule number 2, work for it. Believe in yourself. All the naysayers that said I'm not going to get the contract, I shut them out. I had a ton of friends that said, dude, you're crazy if you think you're going to get this contract. You know, you don't know anything about business. You're not going to get this contract. I said no to those guys. I believed in my gut, in my soul. I believed I was going to get this contract. So I worked for it. And then finally, step number 3, accept it. Enjoy it. Enjoy that reward. You worked hard for it. You deserve it. So yeah, that concludes episode number 1. Let me know if you guys want to see more. If not a problem. Just let me know. Edmund, keep your mouth quiet. We don't care about your life. Just show us your burnouts and donuts. That's all we want you for. If you guys enjoy, let me know. If not, whatever. Ciao.